hereby announce that this meeting is being held in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Open Public Meeting Act. For notice of the meeting dates has been given to the Morris Newsbeat, the Morris County Daily Record, and posted on the bulletin board in Borough Hall.
Okay. Mrs. Doherty,
Present.
Mr. Dreutzler,
Present.
Mr. Lombardi,
Present.
Mr. McAlear,
Here.
and Mrs. Stecker.
Present.
And, Mr. Dreutzler, that's your speaker, because you talk so light, they don't hear you.
Talk too late.
It's too late, so you have your
Supposed
own
to talk
speaker.
louder.
Talk louder. And I would say that
Maybe I
the
shouldn't
Truby's
talk
here.
at all.
Okay. Alright. And Council Liaison said he was coming, so he might be coming up a little late. Okay, I don't know.
Approval of the minutes from the January 13th, 2025 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
There's a number of mistakes in here, I'm sorry to tell you, Karen. Mostly where I think Mike and I's voice was mixed up.
Oh, okay.
I can,
Tell me where.
do you want me to
what
give them
page?
to you and we can redo it, or, cause?
Well, what page? You
Okay,
start
so,
from-
page 32, towards the bottom, it says, Mr. Lombardi stated the law reads one volunteer and one municipal member, that was
Yep.
me.
Okay,
And then at the top of 33, the two people need core training, that was me, not Mike.
oh, third, where, right up on the.
Yeah, the very top line where it says Mr. Lombardi
Okay.
replied, two people, that's me.
Okay,
Everybody.
And then underneath the budget, where it says Mr. Lombardi stated in doing research,
that's you.
that's me. Sorry to make it about me, but that was a mistake. You notice it when it's yourself, I guess. So 34, top line, again, it says Mr. Lombardi, that was me, stated a risk assessment.
Okay,
And then, in that paragraph, Ms. Deckard stated, it says, is Mr. Lombardi suggesting, I believe that,
it's here.
was me. This next paragraph was a little bit of a mix, I think. Some of this is Mike and some of this is me. So, I had said to get the models, but then Mike had said he thought that was a good idea and that he was gonna contact Parsippany, so
Yep.
I think maybe in the,
So change this up a little bit.
yeah, just to,
Okay.
And
just so
both of
this.
us kind
yeah.
of in this specific.
Okay.
How are you?
And then on page 35,
Thank you. Thanks
I'm sorry.
Thank you for coming out.
Where it says, Mrs. Doherty asked if Mr. Lombardi wants to change the memo format. I believe that,
Okay.
Rose speaking to me. That's it, that's what I have for changes.
Okay, so maybe you'll, when you speak,
I need to
This
speak
is,
into the mic.
and it's Rob,
Alright.
or I apologize for that.
Oh, no problem at all.
Okay, so with the changes that are being requested, can I have a reapproval, motion to approve the January minutes?
So moved. Second.
Okay.
Mary Ann. Mary Ann moved.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Voice vote, all in favor, good. Okay.
Comments from the public? Okay, seeing as there's, no,
Excuse me, do you need someone?
No, just, I
Me?
thought you were over here first.
All right, I can take it. Excuse me.
Oh, excuse me.
no worries.
That's a comment from the public.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
Close the comments from the public section. Dave, do you wanna do Forrester's report?
Sure, if you're ready for it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a short one. We had one memo which came in today. That was a stump on 9 Layer Drive. Looks like it's been there for quite a while, unless you have DPW removed it. But it's a 12 to 24 inch stump to be ground,
24?
12 to 24. Okay. That was the only memo I had this month. I did, going back to the worksheets, I did get together with DPW and review the work at the batting cage area at Community Park.
Great, that was actually for my old business section, so let's,
Oh, okay.
let's
Sorry to
chat
jump
about
ahead.
that. No, that's great.
There's one tree that we can knock off the list because it actually fell, broke in half, so John said they can handle the rest of it.
Would that be one of the 12 to 24 or one of the 24 to 36?
It's actually one of the 24 to 36.
Okay.
So that would bring that total down to 5 of those trees.
Okay.
This is the.
No, this-
We're just looking at the worksheet
We're just going-
right
Let's
now.
see.
Sorry, one of
Park
the
maintenance.
park maintenance.
Number 4, the first one.
Yeah.
And then the two that are the 12 to 24, are those still there?
They are still
Okay.
correct.
So, the 12, and then you're saying that we should do 2 of the, or they just fell, we're just changing that number?
We're just
to
changing
4?
it.
Changing that number from 6
6 to 5.
to 5 trees.
Yep.
Okay. Okay,
The other ones, just out of curiosity, those kind of the 12 to 24s,
Yeah.
and then the next one down in Community Park as well, those 12 to 24s. Are those ones that DPW could take care of?
They cannot, because like I
Okay.
said, I asked John,
Okay.
he said they couldn't handle it.
Okay.
Jumping back to the batting cage areas, there is several smaller trees he will take care of underneath those bigger trees that have to come out.
Okay.
They're mostly dead Atlantis trees.
Okay.
Do you know how many of those are?
I would say about at least a dozen.
Okay.
and they're not on this sheet.
Excuse me?
So number 4 with the batting cages, this is additional 12.
No, don't put anything on there, sorry. This is for DPW's going to handle.
So we don't even put.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Okay. So, for me right now, the rest of these 2 other ones, I'm gonna hold on the worksheet list, because one of the things that I wanna do, is set some time with you, Dave, to review these trees in person, just so that when we're looking forward to our, March planting review, if this is an area that we can focus on for replanting, let's take a look at what's there and how we could kind of best, get the foliage and coverage back there.
Okay, yeah, because I definitely believe that area is gonna need replanting.
Okay, great.
Chairman, can you include me? I'll try to make that. I'd like to be there.
Yes, absolutely.
Like to tell council.
Yes, absolutely.
I like your shirt, though.
Thanks.
That style. And it fits the beautification.
Felt like we
With
needed it.
that nice beautiful flower there, I think they are, right?
Jazz things up a little.
That's the way to be.
And then with looking at the one worksheet, just wanted to ensure that I had it correct. There's 2 lines that say Watnum Park for 6 evergreen treatments. Should that be 1 line or 2 lines?
No, it should be 1 line.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that.
What are the dollar amounts here?
Nothing for right now.
Nothing.
Nothing for right now. One of the other ones that I wanna take a look at too, is that first one in Watnum Park. We have a prune 1 evergreen tree. We have it obviously listed as revisit in the spring. That's something I wanna continue to take a look at. It didn't look like it was in the best shape, so I don't, moving forward, I don't know if it would be more to put the money into prune and then have to re-spend funding again to remove. Maybe that comes onto our list, remove and replant immediately.
Okay, yeah, and I think that's why we had kind of revisit, especially after the fall being so dry,
Yes.
we're gonna have some loss, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah, let's definitely revisit that.
Okay, great. And then obviously the 6 other evergreen treatments we'll revisit in the spring as well.
Okay.
Okay.
So I just have a question, Michael. So your recommendation is to forego number 4 and number 5?
For right now, until we could review the trees, cause I wanna see what, how many it truly is, cause there's obviously some other smaller kinda trees brush that DPW will remove. I wanna go and visit the area and Councilman Cortese says you, join us as well, I wanna be able to take a look at the area to then be able to make a recommendation in our, tree planting session, how many that we're gonna
I
need
just
to
wanna make
refill
s-
that
yeah.
area.
I just wanna make sure that none of those are like, gonna fall on any, like, they're not in danger of like
Well,
tipping
I
over.
honestly, as long as we get it before baseball season,
Okay,
because once they put the netting for the batting cage and they fall, because like I said, one already fell
Mhm.
since I looked at it last time.
Yep.
So that would be our main concern.
Is that the one that fell before the New Year, Dave, or is there another one that fell over there?
You know, I just revisited a couple.
Okay, yeah, I just
so-
didn't know, cause I know one was down when I was over there.
But this is up, like up on the hill, you can see. the-
Yeah, right, yeah,
the main
yeah,
trunk of
yeah.
that one, so.
Mhm.
No, my goal is to take a look at this within the next, 2 weeks and then move on action in the next meeting.
so this is deferred to February, I
So
mean
it's
to
over.
March.
No, so all
I
of
mean,
it,
I've looked at it since in December when we first had it here, I don't know what the, if it falls on the, I hope it doesn't fall on the batting cage, anything, that's all I can tell you.
or so everything that's on there should be,
On this, this sheet, this is all, these two are deferred to next meeting, and then the other two for Watton are deferred still to the spring, so that'll be either March or April meeting there.
okay, so.
Excuse me, Dave, I pass by there every day. Are the nets up in the batting cages? I just,
No,
they're down, right?
Yeah.
Cause that was a big thing of mine when I was on rec. I didn't want them, you know, when the season's done, nets down because, you know, tree
Yeah.
falls on them, that's the damage.
Correct, the framing is there.
The framing is
There, but no netting.
fine. I'm pretty sure I didn't see the net, but you know,
Yes.
Thank you.
What this was?
So all of this is coming out of our budget of this year instead of last year.
Okay, so, okay, I got it, so, I'll move to.
Dave, what month for that needle cast do we need to,
That would be in May.
okay,
So this is
um,
deferred.
you gotta get it before the needles come out? 'Cause I
As they
remember
start
when
to,
Justice-
as they start to emerge, yeah, so, you know, we can, I would say by April meeting, get
And then
approval on
it's
that.
spring.
Okay. Maybe we should put that on
And then
the
I have
month on the
January.
worksheet, so
What
we
about
can
January?
have
For
that.
April,
By April, it needs to be done.
No,
In April?
I would say in April we get approval for it,
Okay.
so this way, it's all timing, so it could be
Right.
late April or May.
How the hell I got this sheet?
Cause we wanna see if we can stop it before it spreads. You know.
Well, yeah, we wanna control it,
More than-
and especially inside that island, there's a lot of blue spruces, and they have a tendency to be higher infected than the Norway spruces do, so, but there's a lot of new blues in there, which I really wanna make sure we trim them early and protect them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
cause that's a big screen for the playground.
And then just to go back to the stump, Dave, the 12 to 24, how much was that one?
265 for that stuff?
Okay.
$265.
Yes. So.
And you would grind it, at what depths you go down typically? I'm not holding you to it.
Yeah, we're about
6
6
inches?
inches below
6
grade.
inches below grade?
Yeah. And then DPW will.
Mr. Chairman, you have a problem if I ask these questions? Sometimes just trying to get.
No, Mr. Cortese, absolutely.
Thank you.
And then DPW will topsoil and seed it.
No one will ever see it again.
That's it.
And it'll be alive for 30 years.
Then going back to the worksheet, obviously some we have to defer to the spring. One of the ones that I looked at, that definitely is in need of pruning, so we deferred it to January, we'll address it this meeting, is the 51 Davenport, the prune the 36.
Yeah.
Yes.
That large oak there.
Mm-hmm. And the prune 36 is,
I'll get you the price on them, sorry. That'd be $600 for that.
okay.
And again, the pruning, that would be, I guess, because they're higher branches, our DPW can't get to it, right? Yes?
Correct, yeah.
So you need a bucket truck for that.
Yeah, to get up in, you're probably good 60, 70 feet. I mean, this is a mature oak.
This is an extremely large tree. I drove by it the other day, I was like,
can't
and,
miss it.
no, you can't miss this tree.
And Mike, I'm sorry on that price. I didn't realize it was 36 plus. It's $700.
Okay,
It's 700?
Yes, it's a 36 plus.
okay.
So all dead branches you would, and take them away.
Correct, yeah. And it's half over the road and half over the residence property, so everything's gotta come down in pieces, and we'll chip it up and clean it.
It actually impacts both Davenport Road and Sun Valley. It's almost like right on the corner, so two
I've passed
residential.
by 1,000 times.
Yes, I'm sure you have.
You guys gotta look up, that's all.
Then I'll hit something.
Okay, so then, moving forward, we'll have two, action items then for tonight. This 51, Davenport, the $700 prune, and the stump that was brought in today, $265. So that brings our, $965 for tonight. Okay, I have a motion to approve the $965 and the two tree works that we have.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so Forrester's report and some of the old business was covered, so in a mix of, old business and new business moving forward, I stated at the last meeting that I would look into some of the surrounding towns to see who had an active shade tree and how some of the towns managed that did not. I did have some conversations with, council members in Parsippany and Randolph, and there is no active, shade tree there. Everything is managed under Parks and Recreation, as are, a couple of other, surrounding towns in our area. The closest three towns that do have a active shade tree, Madison does, and thank you for that, to Dave, to let me know that one. Pequannock, Dover, and Morristown, obviously the bigger towns will be more active, in shade tree. I will say, the meeting times in these are actually both, Pequannock and Dover have a very similar meeting time to ours. Ours is at 5:30, theirs is at 6. The only one that is later in the evening, is Morristown, which is 7 o'clock. So I know there was some, concerns about meeting times and things like that, so I just wanted to share with everyone that we're kind of in that middle range as far as some of the other, active shade trees in our area. Anyone else have any new business?
I,
Go ahead, Rob.
I redesigned, cause I, a memo that we get from the Forrester
Oh, I
I
do
did
the
too,
memo,
Sam.
I give that memo to the forest,
to the Forrester,
okay?
and
It's too simple.
I just thought it would be easier, like when Dave is talking, you know, how we can write down, take down, removal, pruning. I don't know which one you like.
I'll look at them. I think that's great. Thanks for doing that.
Okay.
Look at 'em.
I think we could put the cost table on there as well, so we don't have to keep referring to another
Yeah,
page.
that would
And
be good.
constantly asking, that would be
No,
Because
fantastic.
a lot of us aren't here.
Put the actual cost.
The
Yeah.
prices,
in
right?
on the bottom.
Yeah, it would be good to have
Cause
that.
we always go and have to look up on the word, on the other sheet.
Or
So
I
you
should
want
put
me to
it-
put what everything is?
Yeah, like the 12 and under.
So that we can multiply it out on
So
here.
at least each member, yeah, got everything documented, sizes and cost.
But I don't know how much room you're gonna have now,
I mean,
you're gonna
that's
have to
gonna
drop
be,
down.
take up a lot of room. I mean, I could give you all a copy of the, budget that said, not the budget, the contract, and you'll have it right in front of you, okay? So you'll see all of the ones that are prune, you know, the prune prices. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
Okay?
Is it the same one we had last year?
No, it went up a little bit. It went up, I think, yeah, it's basically the same contract, but if you see it, it's for 2025. And what I'll do is maybe I'll make one master of that, and you can keep it in your folder,
Yeah, that'd be great.
right? I
Yeah.
think one master will
Thank you,
be,
Karen.
Thanks.
Yeah,
okay? So you have it right there, all the prices.
yep, that'd be great.
Great.
Yeah, I would, like the commissioners and the Forrester to look at the, borough property at the corner of Johnson Road and Malapartis. A while back, probably 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. A tree came down at night, hit the wires, knocked out power. It's a dead tree. If you go by there, there's a number of dead trees that could fall on the road. And I think it's our responsibility to take a look at it. So you should all go over there and you can see it very easy. I think that's something that, and then we should consider it, what we're gonna do at our next meeting.
And it was Johnson Road and where?
No,
No,
right.
no,
Cause that's designated as a park now, correct? Or is
Yeah,
it?
that's parkland,
Yeah,
that's
it's
part of
parkland now.
parkland, yeah.
Is that still called Sullivan's Pond or just, what do they call that park? Their name?
I think.
Was it
just-
Sullivan's Pond or I still remember hearing sometime in the past?
Well, that's farther down. This comes right up to Malapart, as we know where the sign is.
Well, exactly, we're really
All
clear
the
up.
way to the pump house, you know, from the pump
That whole
house
stretch.
And down to, where the brook, crosses over.
Is that kinda where that black fencing is?
Yeah.
Going down Johnson, I know
Yeah.
there's a section of fence that was put up, it's, okay, I didn't know how far down it
That
goes.
property goes right to the pond,
Okay,
okay? So you can look at a tax map and see it.
Okay, great. Thank you for the recommendation. We will definitely be looking into that.
I have a few things.
Go ahead.
So I just wanted, last time I talked a little about the Green Communities Grant.
Just
Oh,
talk.
sorry, sure, yeah, absolutely.
It's Rob.
This is Rob. Last time I talked a little bit about the Green Communities Grant. I got a little bit more information from the person who helps to administer those grants. And so I just wanted to give everybody an idea of what we were looking at. It was a little confusing to me, so there's two grants. There's one for $20,000 and one for $5,000. The $5,000 one is really for shade tree commissions that already have done the tree inventory and are redoing their management plan. So that one wouldn't make sense for us because in order to get accredited, you now have to do a tree inventory. So I talked to some people at the New Jersey Shade Tree Federation. So the grant covers $15,000 if we were to apply for it, and you'd have to get an estimate, but it's about $25,000 for a inventory. So that's a lot. There's a big difference there. I think the report is covered a little bit more. It looks like it'd be about $7,000. One thing I found to go to some of our conversation last time is that, and I didn't realize this, I was thinking I was gonna have to write the whole report myself, but that actually the report, when you have the consulting arborist does, you have to work with them, but they actually are the author of the report. So they're willing to give us a grant that will cover, all but $2,000 of that. So I just think, when we, Mike and I talked a little about this and the timeline, but when we go ahead and do it, I think we should get some estimates from consulting arborists. You need to have those in order to apply for the grant, because you have to be able to talk about what your costs are and why you need the funding. So I just want to make people aware of that. The second item is that the spring core training is now open. I had expressed to Mike that I would like to do that training. I don't know if anyone else is interested. I just wasn't sure, because I've never done a training before, what the best way is to do that. Should I pay for it myself and get reimbursed? Should I have there's an option to do a purchase order on there? Karen, I wasn't sure what was the best in terms of.
I believe that we have to get permission from the liaison, okay, who would give us permission, and then you can register and we can do a purchase order.
And should I do that, or you?
I would do that, but once he approves it and he tells the finance office,
Okay.
How much is it, Rob?
I believe it's $100. I couldn't actually see without going and starting the process, but I can check for you, Si.
All right, thank you, get back to me. And Rob, you had said you needed calls from arborists. Would that be our arborist or independent arborists, or what were your thoughts with that? What does accreditation require?
So I think that there's normally, Dave might be able to answer this better than me, but I think there's like people who don't do any tree work that are just consulting arborists, and this is what they do, is they sort of put together the plan and like that. I forget the person's name who did the last one, although I have the plan here. I'm not sure if they still are doing them, but so yeah, I think that I don't know if Dave could bid on it or two or what, I'm not sure,
But, yeah, I don't know if I could or not, but like you said, generally, I don't do consultation like that, so like I said, I could recommend a few.
sort of its
consulting.
own,
Yeah, where, like you mentioned, these guys, that's all they do is consult.
Would that be like a Bartlett tree, I think, or,
They might have guys themselves that do
'cause
consulting.
I see them a lot in Madison.
But there's a few fellows that are independent, this John Linson and Rich Wallowitz, and they work for several towns in the area, and all they do is consult for them.
John Winston did the last
Yeah,
one.
John Lindstrom did
And do they charge per hour, per?
Some of them
You have
charge,
those?
yeah, per hour, and if you're looking to do like a whole inventory, like I said, we can probably get an estimate for the, based upon square footage of the town.
If you guys can do that, I can talk to the council, maybe put on a consent calendar so you guys can get moving.
So our recommendation, and Rob and I met, on Friday on this, and I know there was, concerns with budget and things like this, because some of these, yes, there is grant funding and things like that. So our recommendation was to, hold tight for, let's say, 6 months, see kind of how we are with budgets. Obviously, there could be some areas that come up out of concern if we have storms and things like this, and obviously the fact that we are coming out of a significant drought period from last season, so we wanna ensure that we have everything covered here first before we move forward with, working towards a new plan and hiring a new an independent arborist and moving forward through there. But our goal would be to then come through you, to the council for help with that.
By the way, guys,
Isn't the grant covering all this?
There would be a part that would still have to come out of the budget, and we would need additional
What
funding.
is the total cost again?
So-
5,000?
it looks like we'd be in for 32 and the grant would cover 20, so we'd have 12 that we'd have to pay out of pocket.
It's a
That's
lot.
a good chunk of change.
Even though we have not that old a plan, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's why for me, it would make sense to see where we are from a budget standpoint in the next, let's call it 6 to 8 months. And if we're kind of at our budget or whatever we need, take that to the council for that additional funding. And that's hoping that those prices are still the same, at some point in this year to take care of, but it would probably be a ballpark of $12,000.
forgive me if I'm talking too much. As board members, you can tell me to stay quiet, by the way, I'm just
Just
a
stay
liaison.
quiet, speak
Okay?
whatever, just-
But we have a budget meeting coming up in March and April.
Correct.
I would love to invite maybe one or two of you to come to either a meeting, council meeting, or what have you, a workshop, and really, educate us. Cause I'll tell you, I looked at the budget and I just said, well, they took the budget, divided by 12 and they did that. Does that mean they're gonna have that much every month? But now I'm starting to see how it's working, but we gotta convey that to the rest of the council so they can be educated and understand what's going on and the importance of trees, and also being proactive and not have a goddamn dead tree come to our, that's embarrassing to kill our, to stop the JCP&L. They gotta come and fix, because we didn't fix our tree. I understand the frustration sometimes that you guys can have, so.
No, and
Thank you,
I completely agree with you, and I will connect with you and myself and Rob or one of us.
Maybe two of you, yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
we'll definitely
Okay.
work with you and figure out a
You'll
good
hear from
date.
me.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you.
What you might wanna do, since you're gonna wait for 6 months, is maybe you can do this over 2 years, split the grant over the financial cost over 2 years.
Yes.
I believe you have 2 years to do the, to do the grant, so, I think that's.
It's
we'd have
more
to-
complicated than you think.
We'd have to look and see how it would work.
Okay.
So, just a couple other, things, one is, I was looking at the trees, I'm not sure they were planted before my time on the commission, but at the bottom of, on Grannis, at the bottom of the Mountain Way, school lot, I noticed they have, it looks to me like deer rub or something was going on with the bark. So I had talked to Mike about thinking, okay, and we had a problem last year with, the trees not getting watered that we planted. So I just contacted Servo and asked them how much it would be to get deer guard installed when we do the planting and to get a gator. I noticed a lot of the other towns have a gator on there. Now this would be a little bit more involved because we would,
Wait a minute, we have got the trees watered.
Could I just finish what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
And then I can always comment. So, my understanding is they weren't watered last year, Frank. If they were watered, then that's
Which
fine.
trees are you talking about?
The trees that we planted in front of the residents' houses. There's complaints that the trees
Well, that
weren't.
was just the one on Oldwood that claimed he didn't get a hanger that said he didn't know he needed to water the tree.
Right now, we're relying on the resident to water them, right? DPW is not watering the
They
trees.
did water trees because of how dry it was.
I didn't hear any record or mention of that, so. I don't mind if we get a gator or not, I just wanna make sure the trees are watered. So-
Rob, can you just reiterate which trees you're talking about, because, when I applied for the grant last year on behalf of us, I just wanna make sure it's not that same area, because Dave had given us input on the status of those trees and how long they were going to last, which is why we put in for the
I'm
grant.
talking
Is
about
it
the two
those?
small ones that are at the bottom of,
Where the crossing
Mountain
guard
Way.
is?
Yeah, sort of just if you're going across towards Mountain Way, they're just to the right.
A Mountain Way school,
Mm-hmm.
I think the school planted it.
They may have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that kind of where the crossing guard parks?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, sort of right over there, yeah.
Okay, I'm not familiar with what trees are there, that's why.
So, people can feel free to disagree with me. My feeling is there was deer rub on the Old Wood Road, trees. It's $5 extra to get the deer guard put on. To me, it seems like not a lot of money when we're talking about $100,000
Sure as
to
possible.
protect the trees so that they last. And, in terms of the watering, I was looking at the gators because it seemed to me like it made sense to not have the residents do it themselves after several of the cherry trees were blossoming out of season because of the drought, because they weren't being watered. But as long as they're getting watered somehow, but right now I don't know that we have any system in place to make sure that those trees are getting regularly watered by DPW. Do we have a system in place for that? Cause I'm not aware of it if we do.
Well, I always see I always see DPW watering, you know, the trees and the pots and everything else.
These ones they water, and I'm not
Right.
faulting them, but they may not even know we planted them, so they wouldn't even know to go there if it's in front of someone's house, right?
Yeah, if you could let us know,
Will do.
and then we could, give, moving forward, because we will be doing a lot of tree planting this year, we could give an active list and work a little closer to ensure what is newly planted will be continuously watered,
Has to be.
yes.
Yeah, so that's
Has to be,
the
there's no-
concern, because
no
Mary Lynn
prisoners
said
here.
last time, the residents are not watering the trees, and I guess some of the information wasn't getting to them, so if we're gonna go,
Yeah.
and you said you were worried about taxpayer money, so I figured, well,
Yeah.
this would be a way that we could cover some of that.
Yeah, I think last time we talked about that resident who claimed he didn't get the material to know, it was his second tree, that he was supposed to water the
Right.
tree, and so,
But then it came out, I don't think anyone get any material about that, so.
Yeah.
So in any case, it's just something to think about when we're thinking about the cost of planting. I think the $5 for the deer guard in my mind is no brainer, but I'll let Dave weigh in on that. I don't know how effective it is.
Yeah, I think it's very effective. The other thing with it, you do have to follow, make sure you don't leave it on too long. Because the problem is, it will collect moisture underneath, and the tree underneath will start rotting away, because it gets no sun exposure. So it's a double-edged sword, but especially as fall plantings, when these bucks are all rubbing, that's ideal time to put the guards on.
I noticed that it's on the new trees that DPW did in what, right?
Mhm.
The trees that you were watering, the
Correct.
river birch, they're over
Yes,
there.
the River Birch have them on
The
there.
ones you guys planted. So when
Yeah,
they put those in, they put the
The deer guard on it, yeah.
So, yeah, there's some that really wrap the trunk tight, some are more loose a little bit. I almost prefer the ones that are a little bit loose, it was on like a cage, almost like a deer fencing, so they're not tight on the
That's what
trunk.
they told me at Agway.
And would the fencing then prevent, because it's an open air fence, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so this way you get sun and air through there. Because the other ones, when they wrap them, like I said, they're great, but you leave it on, all the moisture builds up underneath.
Okay.
And then when you finally do pull off the wrapping, you get fungus and decay growing underneath, and sun scald, because the tree bark has now been protected for a couple of years, it's not used to the sun, and it'll splinter and peel. So it's a double-edged sword, but definitely protecting them for the amount of money you're spending to put them in makes, for $5 or $10, it's kind of a no-brainer.
No brainer.
In terms of the other gators, I'm not an expert on this. My understanding is they have sort of a slow drip water. I don't know if it would save DPW time if they went and filled those and then they didn't have to go as often to water the trees or what, but I think it's something that's worthwhile looking into since we had a problem with that last
And
year.
there's a slow drip one, you said, like,
Yeah.
There's-
Bags, right, they're bags.
Yeah, they're like, kinda, you probably see them
Oh,
around, you
right.
know, at the
There's a
base
couple
of
different
trees.
shapes of
Yeah.
them, some are
Yeah.
like round flat, some are more upright conical shape. But yeah, I believe you fill like, I think it says like once a week or something.
Yeah, I don't know when,
Depending on the size of them, but besides the initial cost of the bag, it does eliminate the labor of DPW having to sit there 2-3 times a week sometimes, if it's like we had last year, where they fill them up once a year, the guys go back, fill them up again. It will cut down on labor, just have to balance it out with the cost
right.
of, I don't know how it works between DPW's labor and shade tree with the cost of the bags, so I can figure that out.
I guess the point is we just need to have some sort of watering plan in
Ah,
place before we
absolutely.
plant, because we didn't have that enough, in my opinion, last year, so. So sorry, I have one more thing. So I talked to Mike about this a little bit. This isn't really targeted exactly at us, but I just wanted to mention it because we had talked some last time about that we were not planting as many trees as we were cutting down. And so when I was trying to do research on that, I stumbled across a report that the Madison Shade Tree Commission had gotten about their overall canopy loss. So to be clear now, I'm talking about the canopy of the whole town, not just the public areas that are under our jurisdiction. And when I went and looked, I saw that that there was a map and it showed the tree loss of the municipalities all in New Jersey, and I noticed that Morris Plains was darker, which was not good on this map, by a bit than the surrounding towns. So I got in touch with her, the author of the report, and asked her if she had the data that she had used to make that map, and I got a hold of it, and she gave it to me. Now it's just one snapshot. The way she got the data is from the Forest Service layered maps, where she looked at one each year. It's a satellite image, so it's not perfect. We know that from the affordable housing that was at the meeting. However, here is the canopy loss going from 48 down to 40 here from 2011 to 2021. So according to her data, we've lost about 5% of our canopy over those 10 years. So I just wanted to bring this up because, again, I think this has a lot to do with developments, tree diseases, other things. I'm not saying that it's because of our action or inaction, but I think it speaks to that we need to really think about what we can do. And I also think that I wanted to show it to you, Sal, so that the council could be aware of it, because there's this tree ordinance which has been tabled about stormwater, and to me this was pretty shocking that we've lost that much of our canopy in 10 years, and with these affordable housing developments that are going to be going in, I imagine there's going to be more. So I just wanted to mention it both for our sake, but also if that maybe the council could think about how they're going to manage that canopy loss, because it was upsetting to me to see that we were doing worse than some of the surrounding towns. Not a lot. I think we were at 5.1. Morristown was at 4.3 or something. Denville was doing better than us. Parsippany, I can share the data if you want. But so I just wanted to mention it. I'm trying to use the Forest Service data in order to pinpoint. There's a way you can go on there to pinpoint more precisely where our tree loss in Morris Plains has been. But the way you have to do that, I took 1,500 points and I looked at each of them to see if there was a tree or not a tree, and then I have to compare them to the older map, which is kind of a pain. So it's going to take me a little while to do that, because I was really interested to see, okay, where are we actually losing canopy? Obviously some of the new developments, that seems like an obvious place, but are there other places in town that maybe we could do something more about? So
Route 53?
yeah.
What is the average tree canopy through the town? You said 40%. What's the other town's average tree?
Some of them are more, some of them are less. We're certainly not the worst by any means, but our loss is increasing over that period faster. I can get this. I didn't print those out for you, Frank, but I'm happy to share it with you. It's there.
If you would, I'd like to see.
Yeah. It was just concerning to me, and so I wanted to get another source of data so that I could check against this data. But the preliminary result that I have, that 2021 is down to 42.77%, and the one I did for 2025 is at 41.78 or something. So, apples to oranges a little bit on the data, but it seems to be very
hundreds of homes built in that
I appreciate you bringing this, and when we spoke, I know we talked about this, and this kind of segues into, you know, some more of the new business for next meeting. We're gonna really talk about and focus on some of the planting that we're gonna do, so I really hope with some of our planting efforts, we could really either stop this or start going back up. That's the biggest focus this year, is to really kick drive the replanting and start to impact this, so.
I have one thing, okay, I got a phone call from Mendham, and they're wondering about the grant for all the ash trees that are dead. And they said there's a grant, do I know anything about it? And I really don't. So I don't know if Steve Welsh would know, cause he's the grant guy, or did you hear anything?
I don't think the town got any grants that I know of.
I don't think so, but.
But they should go to the county. The county had a big program on removing ash trees on county roads. Big. So they would certainly know
They
something.
would know,
Yeah.
so,
Because
alright,
we only got the lantern fly grant,
Right.
nothing for the actual ash
so,
tree.
alright, I'll call the county then,
Mhm.
before, of course, I didn't know if I didn't think we had
No.
anything, but, okay.
But what happened? The council was doing the lantern fly grant. What is the status of it?
I can get back to you on that.
Okay.
I know we're all, of course, concerned with those things.
Anyone have anything else?
Yeah, talking about tree planting. Those trees that were said at the last meeting were planted, they were not planted. So we didn't plant those trees that we were supposed to plant last year. And they're ready to go right away in the spring. And since I did start driving around and look for places to plant, and I think I can give you a couple of places. Naturally, there should be 2 trees. We talked about it last time at the Janeway Park.
Yeah.
There should be a tree planted at 2, we have to double check with the people, 2 Schoolview Drive, 168 Mountain Way, but on the Idlewild side, probably here at 9 Lair. So,
Correct, where the
all
stump
right,
is.
5 trees, was that the goal?
Yeah, I think you got it pretty good right there.
I think
Okay.
that seemed like 5.
And then the rest of us will bring our 5 plus, for the next meeting.
Okay, Schoolview Drive, did you have an address or?
It's on the list on the,
What?
on our list
Number
of
two.
stump
I believe
removals.
it's 2, correct?
Two schools.
That's where the tree was taken down by DPW?
Alright, I just wanna, it's 2 trees at Janeway Park, 2 at Schoolview Drive, 168,
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, 1 tree, it's 2 Schoolview Drive.
Correct.
Yeah,
168 Mountain Way opposite.
Yep.
Am I correct?
No, 168 Mountain Way, but on the Idlewild side. It's on Idlewild Drive.
Okay,
That's a corner lot.
okay. and
Nine
then
Layer Drive.
9 Layer Drive.
Drive,
the one
the
we
stump that we
did
just.
tonight.
Yeah, the stump is big.
Okay.
I figured I'd get it before someone else got it.
Good, I appreciate that, that's good, we're already moving forward with our initiatives for this year, 5 new trees coming to Morris Plains.
Can we make a sort of large list and then kind of prioritize them? Because one of the things I was thinking about since the last meeting is, you know, we're trying to plant larger shade trees, and so when we're thinking about what sites we want to plant in, I think it might make sense to at least that would be a variable that we consider. Instead of some of the places where it's under wires, to see if we can get the larger trees in the ground that we haven't been able to get in.
And I think.
And then maybe go back down the list or whatever. I don't, however it works, I don't know, it just seems like that should be a priority when we're thinking about the planning, and that having a big list and then sort of thinking about what can go in each of those sites and having a little bit of a plan might make sense.
No, that's good, that's something we can take into consideration on location. I can tell you, just for coming attractions here, at least my list that I'm working through, a lot of it will not be impacted by wires or anything like that, so we would be able to do kind of the larger scale tree.
Yeah, I think it's important.
Well, Janeway, you certainly can put large
Larger tree,
trees.
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Schoolview and Lair Drive are underground wires, so that's, you have to make sure you don't plan them where the wires are, but, Idlewild, you have to see where exactly you put it. It's close there, but you could get one big tree there.
Great.
Anyone have anything else before we adjourn? Okay, with that, I ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Nice work.
Thank you, everyone.
Same to you.